Alright, fam fam. So it is the end of the day and I'm so tired, but I can't fall asleep because whatever, still I guess hype. So I'm gonna do a little race recap and then probably like place it in like between when I like said bye, I'm going to the marathon, and then hi, I did the marathon, like so you know like what happened when, whatever, I don't know. Okay, so I'll like start with what happened like when we got off the bus. So um, our coach dropped us off, and then we like walked to the start line. Like all these back, there was only like 20 minutes like until the race starts, so it wasn't really a lot of waiting around. Um, and I had a sweatshirt on, and I like had bought that sweatshirt so I could toss it at the um, start line because I didn't want to run in a sweatshirt because I knew it would get hot, but like I didn't want to be cold like waiting, so like whatever. And yeah, so I had planned to run with like the 4:45 pacers. Thought someone was coming in. And so there was like four of us in that group, and then like two pacers for that whatever. And so like the race started, and the one of the pacers had run marathons before, and the other one had never run a marathon before, but apparently he runs like 25 miles every other day, just like in trails. And I was like, oh, okay, like that's casual. So their plan was to like switch off, like holding the sign, like the pace sign, every other mile. So the guy who had run marathons before started, and then we got to mile one, and then he handed it off to the guy who never run a marathon before, and then just like fell back, and literally we did not see him the rest of the race. Like literally, we didn't, like he would just fell back because he was like talking to people. So it was just like that guy who never run a marathon before, and then like the people pacing with him, and like so we're going, well, so to go 4:45, to get 4:45 in a marathon, the pace is 10:52, 10 minutes 52 seconds per mile, and we were going 9:50. Like that is over a minute difference, which for first freaking marathon, or like literally starting off, like that's so fast. And like, or like for people who've like never done it before, like who have whatever, like even whatever, like it was so fast, and we were all just like, okay, do we tell him, like I don't know. And then we got to like mile 6, and he was just like, okay, I'm gonna go see if I can find the other pacer, like here, and handed me the sign. So I'm literally holding the pace sign, and I was like, what? I was so stressed. And then there were like other runners coming up to me, and he was like, they're like, you know, you're going faster than like 4:45, and I was like, yeah, I know, like it's not my fault. And, like I told them the whole thing. They're like, oh, haha, and I was like, funny. But yeah, and so then he caught back up to us around mile like 7 maybe, and he was like, thanks for holding that. And I was like, yeah. And so then I ended up like kind of leaving them. I don't know, I was feeling it, and I was like, maybe I'm just gonna like stay with this, like I'm not gonna fight the feeling, yeah. And so I like kept running, I like ran ahead. And at like mile 8-ish, I saw Nick and Alex, and I was like, oh my gosh, like hey guys, it gave me such a boost of energy. It was so awesome. And yeah, and so then we ran past the Wright Brothers Memorial, which was like super cool because like that's like a huge thing in the Outer Banks, and like we ran like literally like around the whole memorial, and like it was so cool. And then we got into the trail part of the race, which was like mile 9 to like 13 maybe. And at mile 11, like I hear Gabo, and like I was like, oh my god, that sounds like my mom. But I was like, no way. And I was like looking and like scanning, and there was a lady, because it was at a water stop, and there was a lady who like looked like my mom, and I was like, okay, literally that's a Jabber J from Hunger Games, like literally. And then I was like still scanning, and she was literally there, and I was like, no way. And like I started bawling my ass out. I was like, no way. Like I was so happy she was there. It was so cute. And then she was like, you're doing good, like I'm so proud of you, la la la. And I was like, thanks mommy. But yeah, and then so yeah, I kept going, and then still in the trail, and I get to like mile 12 and a half, and I literally like tripped and fell on the roots, like in the trail. I was so mad. because, and it was actually so funny too, because I was like talking to the pacer earlier about like trail running versus road running, and I was like, yeah, I hate trail running because you like have to focus so hard because like roots and rocks and everything, whereas like road running is just like just run, like there's nothing on the road. I mean, cars, okay, but like you can see a car coming, like roots are small and like everywhere, you know. And like, and so then we get to the trail and I like literally fall. We were like just talking about it. It was funny, but not really. I'll show you my battle wound. Ow, ow, can barely whip. Okay. I don't know if you can see it. Okay, probably not. Ow. Okay, maybe I can barely get up. Okay. Anyway. And yeah, and like my hands were like stinging, and like it was just like I was so upset. But yeah, so then got to mile 13, and now like we're like on the like highway, and I was like, oh, okay, this is safe. But it was coned off, so it was actually fine. And I was feeling so good, like I literally like hauled it for like a few miles. And then I got to mile like 15 and a half, and I was like, oh, no. And I like was feeling it, and I was like, yikes, still have like 11 more miles. Oh, also I want to add, so last March, when I ran 15 miles for the first time ever, I literally started crying at the end because I was like, I just can't imagine running 9 more miles. That was so hard. And like my mom's like, okay, it's not 9 miles, it's 11 miles, but like, yeah. And I was like, ooh. But then I got to 15 miles today, and I was like, man, like I'm doing great, and like just growth. Okay. And so then I was like, I started feeling it in my legs. Like I still felt good, but like my legs were really starting to hurt, and I was like, okay, we can do this. Like it's fine. And like, oh, and like my goal for the race was like not to walk. Like through water stops, yes, of course, walk. Take your time, get your water. But like, if you're literally like in the middle of the race, like do not walk. Like what? Like no. And so, then whatever, race goes on. I saw my mom again at mile 20, which is so awesome. And then we got to mile like 22, 23-ish, and there was a huge like run up a bridge, run over to get to the next like town or whatever. And I literally saw the bridge, and I was like, all right, I guess we're about to do this. And it wasn't bad. Like when I saw the bridge, I started like going faster, like as fast as I could, because I knew I would slow down when I got to the bridge. So like I guess that helped. But after the bridge, I was like, okay, I am done with this. Like I want to be done so bad. And I was only at mile like 23-ish. Like I was in the middle of mile 23. And so like, and we still had like 3 miles to go, you know. And so yeah, but I kept going, and like I'm pretty sure it was a straight shot, maybe like one turn until the end. But yeah, like I would say, because they talk about hitting a wall in marathons, and like usually around mile like 18, like which is when like literally you just like everything is just like done, but you have to like push through it. But I say for me, I hit my wall at mile 25, which like, oh my gosh, like you're so close to being done, but like exactly, like that's the point, like you're so close to being done, so like why can't you just be done, you know? Whatever, pushed through it, and like got to the end, like so awesome. I almost started crying, but I literally looked to my left, and my teammates holding an iced coffee for me, and I was like, oh, victory. Okay, so backstory with that, I gave up coffee all last week because like coffee is like really dehydrating, and like I'm not good at drinking water anyways. Like I literally drink so much water this week, like it wasn't even funny. Like I was so impressed with myself. Like I met my like hydration goal every single day except for Friday when we came down here, which because I was kind of like I didn't want to like stop and have to pee, like I have to keep stopping and like for everybody, so I just like didn't drink anything. But Saturday I met it, and yeah, like I did really well this week. So anyway, the only thing I wanted at the finish line on Sunday was a nice coffee, and like my team came through and they got it for me, and I was like, yes, like it was awesome. And then like we took pictures, and like I talked to my mom for a little bit, and like yeah, it was so awesome. And I mean, it was just very hard. Well, like the second like half of it, but literally like the most awesome experience. Like I definitely like want to keep doing like marathons and like these big distances because like it's awesome just like pushing your limits and like I don't know, channeling, like, so what I was just thinking about, like, everything that's happened, like, this semester, like, with the half Ironman getting canceled, and just, like, all this other stuff, and, like, just, and I kept thinking about, like, okay, like, take all of this and, like, channel it into this race, and, like, that's what I did, and, like, it, like, worked, like, I don't know, like, I feel like I did really well for my first marathon, but yeah, so that's, like, a race recap. Maybe I'm missing a few things, but like that's like pretty much that, like what I remember, what I took from it. Yeah. If I think of anything else, I'll add it. But marathon number 1 is done. Yay!